Yeah. Alright, here's the one thing. This one is not gonna leave the evil groups.
Oh, yeah, no.
I will say a
Yeah, I
quick
think
story.
we already know where they fall, right?
Yeah, I know a
Lawful
quick
evil.
story. I'm gonna read this one. I don't have it with me, but I know it by heart. There was this one girl who did multiple casinos within Marshall Carter's domain, and when Marshall Carter and Dark challenged her herself, she lost badly and could not pay it back, which pissed them off. So they said, in exchange for the money you owe us, we will force you to be this doll for so years. I forgot what years. And here's the thing: she can see everything, and like her mind is still there, but she can't move, speak, or do anything. And anyone can do whatever they want with her body because they sold her.
Yeah, that's yeah.
They're still lawful evil. They're just not ones you want to piss off. I'm not sure how else to say that.
They might be worse, Jerry.
Well, aren't they a like we've been putting like profit-based organizations into neutral evil.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like lawful would be good in this case because they do follow very strict rules that are of their own making and not ones that would be following a country's laws, but they are still their own strict rules.
Okay, so they do have their own strict rules. Okay.
Yeah. So here.
Then yeah, I guess let's read.
Yeah. Alright, so Marshall Carter and Dark. Overview. A club based in London, England, catering to the super rich and with extensive political and financial ties worldwide. This group has caused extensive problems for the Foundation. Marshall Carter and Dark Limited is known for collecting rare and obscure items, along with providing its members the most exclusive, expensive, and rare experiences available. That's one way to say it. These activities were resulted in conflict with the Foundation on numerous occasions. The group is not known for the use of force. They prefer to apply extreme financial and political pressure to achieve their goals. When forced to use more direct means, Marshall Carter and Dark Limited employs outside agents, and it is very difficult to connect said agents to the organization. Marshall Carter and Dark Limited has caused several SCP containment breaches primarily through the use of money or social pressure. Severe reports, records, and even items have been leaked by Foundation personnel who have been approached by large amounts of money or threats of extensive jail time or torture. Notably, 2 containment sites were almost brought to public attention after the Foundation refused access to members of Marshall Carter and Dark Limited. Information pertaining to Marshall Carter and Dark Limited, such as the name of the director or even a list of members, has proven very difficult to acquire. Agents encountering members of this group are advised to maintain a cover story and not, for any reason, reveal Foundation ties or SCP information. So these guys are actively attacking the Foundation.
Only when the Foundation is in their way. But yes, when the Foundation's in their way, they will attack. This is literally what we were just talking about anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And yes, the Foundation will get in their way because the Foundation's neutral, not evil. It wants to try to help keep the universe safe. Marshall Carter and yeah, Marshall Carter and Dark does not want to keep the world safe. They want money. Obviously, the 2 groups are going to clash.
Yeah.
So,
Marshall Carter and Dark's wish is the Foundation cared more about money, but it doesn't.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I'm not sure if this is a message from Marshall Carter and Dark or something else. Right here. But it does mention
I would
some
like to
information.
read it.
You want to read it? Okay.
Yes. Because honestly, that sounds like the first line reminds me of something a mobster might say.
Oh wait, marshall-carter-and-dark is gay.
What?
Because look at this. This has rainbow in their logo up
Oh.
here.
Now I don't even know what fucking voice to do.
I'm joking.
I was
They're
gonna
probably
try
not
to do
gay.
a really bad mafia voice, and I'm like, wait, what voice do I do?
They're probably not gay. I'm just making a joke. Wait, who knows?
Okay. Why do rich people care about making money? The poor certainly need to take care about doing so. When one's resources are only enough to scrape by, money's all that matters. It's important for the middle class as well. Looking after their spouses, their children, there's a cultural dependence that weighs them down. The rich want to make money because they can always become richer. There's always another echelon for the wealth to rise above, some degree of opulence that's beyond their grasp. They drive to even further heights, seeking to slake their thirst of coin. They care about making. What's slake?
What type of snake?
Like-
I'm sorry.
What? It's SLAKE. I mean SLAKE.
Rights being a dingus.
Yes.
Okay. They care about making money simply because they can. To do so, the rich exploit people far below them on the social ladder, the poorest of the poor. The oil magnate, the oil magnate. Yeah, that's what it says. To the harsh dictator, to the kings and queens and lords and ladies, the common people are specks of dirt. To Marshall, Carter, and Dark, the rich people are to Marshall, Carter, and Dark, the rich are unto ants. Oh, that's harsh. People, regardless of social standing, are all the same. The poor may spend their savings on worthless yet treasured trinkets sold by middle class. The salary man may splurge on a pretty ring for his wife, the profits in which go into the pockets of a wealthy mining boss. In the same way, the gullible rich people will burn millions of dollars on a single impossible object. Everyone is willing to waste their precious, precious money on something out of the ordinary. But value is artificial. The poor spend their pennies on mass produced china, convinced that it has some worth to it. The rich convince the middle class that diamonds are rare and valuable, despite the stones being retrieved in Africa by the billion. Marshall, Carter, and Dark convince the rich that the impossible is invaluable, while okay, well, any anarchist on the street can twist a die into a hypercube. The methodology of such a scheme is quite simple, but the critical step is to gain a market monopoly. If you are the only seller in town, you can set the price at any level you desire, as long as you can drum up the demand. In this regard, Marshall, Carter, and Dark have the advantage. Hundreds of years, they were the only peddlers of anomalous wares in the world. They had the time to gain the capital, and with the capital, they can now outprice even the most competitive upstart. While organizations such as the Foundation, the GOP, and the Horizon Initiative resent the company's existence, they are unable to deal with such an unassailable economic powerhouse. With a glance, Marshall, Carter, and Dark could level a city, bankrupt a country with a single call. They could plunge the plane into thermonuclear war. Yet the eternal relief of all, they are the least volatile players in the anomalous field. After all, if the veil of secrecy were to break, their trinkets would become worthless. Their business would crumble and dissolve. While this may cause some to think of Marshall-Carter-and-Dark as a massive, faceless corporation. Their workforce numbers at most in the order of 100 personnel. Their operations are directed and streamlined, maximizing efficiency and minimizing cost. Further manpower, if necessary, is outsourced from other organizations. Those in the highest positions of power are perhaps the most mysterious. Wild stories abound on the subject, depending on the source. They may be ghosts or demons, old men sending messages from beyond the grave, faceless monsters from another world, or even shape-shifting lizard men. Another part of their operations is establishing supply lines between various anomalous groups. Marshall, Carter, and Dark purchase directly from groups such as Dr. Wondertainment and the Factory, reselling their goods at exorbitant markups. Prometheus Labs gladly supply the group with their latest research. In exchange for samples of exotic and complex anomalies, they often host inert exhibitions, exerting notable control of the artistic marketplace. Similarly, they host various social functions for the most rich and powerful people in the world. With hooks throughout Europe, America, Russia, and China, there is never trouble finding a market for a given item. They are, of course, willing to sell to any buyer. Groups such as Chaos Insurgency are some of their most valuable clients. Perhaps the organization most opposed to Marshall, Carter, and Dark are the Mana Charitable Foundation and the Serpent's Hand. Mana Charitable often attempts to sabotage their operations due to their restrictions of anomalous goods to the upper class. However, their limited range and resources make them more irritating than threatening. The Serpent's Hand, meanwhile, are directly and openly antagonistic, caring neither for the veil of secrecy or the company continuing practice of anomalous human trafficking, and impossible to economically intimidate. They represent the only they represent the only pervasive threat to the group's operations. Without question, Marshall, Carter, and Dark are one of the most important pieces on the chessboard in the anomalous world, occasionally putting other players into check, but never the up-to mate. For Marshall, Carter, and Dark, the planet is an intricate network they have secured safely beneath their thumb, where winning and losing are meaningless terms. There's no need to move pieces when you can move the board. When you can end the match at any time, there's only one reason to continue. It's all about playing the game. Man, I love how
Wow.
even Marshall, Carter, and Dark calls the Mana Foundation useless.
Yeah, I also find funny how the only organization they see as a threat is the Serpent's Hand.
Ah, goddamn.
Yeah. Like, they didn't even mention the Foundation. They're just like, nope, just a Serpent's Hand.
Serpent's Hand stays winning.
So yeah, we pretty much already understand where it's gonna go, right? Before we read this.
Yeah.
I guess
just
again, like,
reading that.
Huh?
I guess again, like, I'm just like, if their only goal is to make money, how much of a like strong internal rule set do they have? Is my question.
Well, we've seen like multiple SCPs that referred to Marshall, Carter, and Dark. And it's really suggestive that they have strong rules. It's just strong rules for their group to follow. Basically, if you sign a contract, you have signed the contract. If
Yeah,
you
like I
made
mentioned
a
earlier with
promise
that
to
girl.
them,
Like I mentioned earlier with that girl who got really fucked up.
yeah. Also, if you steal from them, they'll fuck you up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, but like, does that indicate like an actual law system within themselves, or them just acting like a mafia?
I
When I
think
was,
they.
huh?
Oh, I was gonna say, I think it shows they have a strong law system, especially since
Yeah.
we don't hear about them stealing from other people, which is
Hmm.
weird. I mean, they're an evil organization, but technically, they only take what's theirs.
What I kind of see them is like the group that controls the economic sense of selling anomalies. Like all the selling anomalies, it seems to be mainly going through them most of the time. That's what I'm seeing in this. Well, like reading
Yeah.
about them. So, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. Hmm. I'd be willing to put lawful evil if that's what y'all are dead set on.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm just very convinced they're lawful evil. I mean, it still makes them evil, but.
Oh, we didn't even come
But
over here for the quotes. I keep forgetting to do that.
Okay. Does anyone want to read the quotes about Marshall, Carter, and Dark? Oh my gosh, I just noticed their ball is like a money guy
Yeah,
with a
yeah,
monocle.
I'll read them. Alright. From Marshall Carter and Dark Hub. Oh, well, you just read that. So, never mind. From 2987, sacrificing human soul is hard work. Those with experience will tell you it's never as easy as you think it's going to be. Maybe you need an innocent soul, but you can't bring yourself to kill a child. Maybe you need to sacrifice a warrior, but you don't want to lose people bringing him in. Marshall Carter and Dark understands your difficulties. That's why we've started to develop artificial souls like this one. Oh.
Uh,
Oh god, Camp Granada. I know what Camp Granada is. It's where one of the things the O5 did to test Abel and Iris working at MTF was release the zombie virus. Well, an enhanced version of it.
oh,
I would not be surprised
great.
if Marshall Carter and Dark's involved in it. Dear Sir or Madam, Marshall Carter and Dark sincerely regrets the unfortunate death of your child during the recent events at our Happy Acres Youth Camp. The loss of a loved one is never easy, even when anticipated, but it's harder still when they are taken from us far too soon. We offer our sincere condolences and deepest sympathy on our loss. May an outpouring of sympathy and the kind acts of friends and strangers and the comfort in knowing that your loss is felt by many help you through this difficult time. As a gesture of support, we are refunding all fees charged to you for your recent stay at our Diamond Mountain Resort in the form of a certificate of store credit. Oh, wow, fuck you. You just lost your child. Here, have some store credit.
man, that's lawful, but also evil, and I'm not sure what else to say.
Yeah, also, for those who don't know what the modified zombie virus did, eventually when you're infected by the zombie virus, you would die. It's inevitable. But with the modified zombie virus, instead of getting to the point you die, you produce a clone of yourself with as infected. And it would keep going as more food they get.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Remember, the Foundation made that. Well,
Hmm.
specifically in 05, which then became the head of Chaos and Searching, which makes sense. But anyways, SCP lore done. Oh, why did I...
you okay?
I did something stupid. I accidentally closed.
It's okay. We all do stupid things.
I don't know why I did that. Alright. Let me open that just in case. Alright, so the next. Alright, so we know it goes unlawful evil.
I feel like lawful evil can be some of the most evil, impartial assholes ever.
Yeah.
But this is Marshall, Carter, and Dark, so...
Yeah.